too late. Hello, everyone, tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're Mom's Talking Shit podcast, and tonight we are talking season 12, episode 6, Defending Your Wife. And there were quite a few husbands that were defending their wife and other husbands that were acting like it. So we're going to get right into it. But before we do, please remember to like and subscribe. Please share, tell your friends. You can check us out here on YouTube and anywhere else that podcasts are playing, Apple, Spotify, and don't forget on Instagram. All right, let's get into it. You want to take us down to the first couple to recap?
Sure. The episode starts off with day 4 of marriage. Two couples are totally hot for each other, so far. Ryan and Clara talk about what they like and the connection that they have. He reveals that he's never been in love. She thinks it's great that the girl who always is in love is paired with the guy who's never said I love you. I think it's kind of like they're talking about too much serious things at once. Anyways, so she thinks that it sucks. Anyway, the girls and guys get together to hang out separately. So.
Okay. Well, she's definitely worried. She does seem to fall in love pretty easily, and she's a little bit guarded. No, she's not. She's fallen in. But I'm wondering if he's going to say I love you or if she'll be first. I'm not too sure.
I don't know.
But they were getting along pretty well for the most part until later on in the episode. So when the girls and the guys broke up, the girls went to a bar and they learned how to make mixed drinks. And the guys went to, I guess, a casino to learn how to gamble. And they both had some very interesting conversations during each one of their lessons. The ladies were talking about the guys and they called Vincent Champagne Vinny and was asking how their intimacy was going along with the whole group.
So when they were talking about the intimacy, the guys were hysterical. Eric was like, I've never in my life felt this before. He was totally drunk. Vincent was like, my girl is bossy, but I think we gonna be all right. And Jacob was like, we're doing okay. Of course, we know how Chris and Paige are doing. So they don't even talk about them.
But Chris was questioning Eric if he had a little bit too much to drink because he was falling asleep at the table and slurring his words. And he was so very much in love. And Vincent said he was chocolate wasted.
He was totally wasted. I think he was trying to fit in with her too much.
Well, you got to let loose a little bit. You're in Vegas. I keep saying that the whole time. You're in Vegas. It's your honeymoon. You want to have a good time. And it's not like he's been trashed the whole time. This is the first time. It's the last day.
He's been trashed the whole time. They've been in Vegas. They are late to everything. They show up late and loud to every single thing.
Well, maybe they're having a good time.
Yes, Virginia and Eric are late. Okay. So the girls are taking shots at the bar. Virginia tells the girls they have a few issues. That she's Southern conservative, and that that she supports gay marriage. That her sis is gay, so differences to work through there. That's a little weird. Also, she isn't giving up her guy friends, even though Eric isn't cool with it. Did you see the scene where Clara had to calm her down when she was hysterical after the pool?
I did. She was crying. Clara said to just breathe. Maybe it's just something you guys are going to get over.
He's going to get used to it. Let him meet the guys.
Yeah. So she was good, to be there and listening for her for sure. But Eric thinks that everything's perfect. Virginia is aware that they have some issues to work through, but I'm still feeling good.
You still like it?
I
Clara
do.
says Ryan has asked. Listen, Clara, I liked her little thing. She goes, Ryan's asked me to keep our stuff private, but we do have a physical relationship. That girl got a big mouth. Didn't he tell her to shut her mouth?
Later on at the end of the episode, he was mentioning that one of the issues is she needs to watch the words that came out of your mouth.
By the way, I love your shirt.
Oh, girl, I love your shirt too.
So this episode, we are saying run, Paige, run. Okay. And
We'll
you
get
can
to
purchase these shirts on our website at momstalkingshit.com. Anyway, we'll get back in that in a minute. So
definitely. And all the reasons she should run. Okay. So he did mention that she needs to watch what comes out of her mouth. And I would be kind of upset because I just didn't feel like it even came out right.
No.
The way he said it.
I don't think he meant it like that either.
I don't
but he
either.
is saying that, you do need to be conscious of what comes out of your mouth. You can't just be crazy and say whatever you feel like.
And speaking of that, the main reason why he mentioned that was that I keep saying that the same mention that she needs to watch her mouth is while they were all on the excursion. There was 3 of the couples. It was Virginia and Eric, Chris and Paige, and Clara and Ryan, and they all went out on like a 4-wheeling excursion. They were having a great time. I don't know about you, but I would feel nervous with Chris driving. Like, he seems too much of a bitch to be able to handle some kind of like vehicle like that, and I'd be afraid he was going to tip. But they all survived. But when they went to one of the stops, they got out and they were all having casual conversation, and Virginia and Clara were talking to Chris about Paige and her feelings once again, and how is he going to handle stepping up. And he said that as far as he's concerned, he did enough stepping up already by telling Paige that he had a baby on the way in the first place. And Virginia and Clara both did not keep their mouths shut and spoke up for Paige and defended her, and was mentioning if that were them, they would have dipped out. Of course, he was offended because everything offends him, and he just wants everybody to mind their own business.
The only thing about minding your own business is that you're on a show. You're on a reality show where they put all these couples together. And the formula of the show wasn't like this before. They used to keep it to where all the couples were not seeing each other.
Okay.
It was just the couples would be married and, that was it. You wouldn't get to mingle with the other couples. But now that they do that, they have the couples for being able to support each other and rely on each other. So for them to be sticking, I would have done the same thing at the moment. Now, it's a point where you got to like be into your own marriage, but I could have seen me going off. But Virginia was a little bit drunk, so it went a little bit.
I don't know. She might have to sobered up after
Clara
that
was
drive.
like, "Why does he have to poke the bear? Like poke an angry person?" Because he is like pissed at the moment. He's got a lot of going on, of course.
Well, I too think I would have probably said something. You know what I think it is too? Do you think the producers mentioned, so why don't you go up and casually ask him about this? Because you know how the producers kind of like set scenes up and set questions up. And for them to just be able to just talk about it, I feel like that was kind of a setup scene. I don't know if you felt like that.
They told them to be late.
I do too. I thought the same thing. But that's later on at the dinner when they were telling them to be late.
They're always late, though. They were late when Virginia came up with the comment, "Is it yours?" about the baby comment. I mean, if they would have been involved in the conversation, they would have known what was up.
So maybe we're all blaming Virginia, and it's really the producers all along.
By the way, have you seen what Dr. Pepper put out about the Chris situation? It's deleted now.
What is that? I think I might have. But
I shared it on our stories because I shared it off of, I think, somebody caught it before she deleted it. But it was basically a statement about Chris and about how, it wasn't their fault. They went through all the processes and he checked all the boxes. Yeah.
Right, and there's another counselor, and I don't know all their names because I'm new to Married at First Sight, but one of the guy counselors also put out a statement saying that they did all of the thorough background checks with Chris and this and that, a therapist, a private investigator, and he fooled them all. And so they're all kind of along for the ride. But at this point, Paige is a grown woman, and she chose to stay in it, which I'm wondering why she's choosing to.
Dr. Pepper took hers down, though, I think, because she was getting a lot of backlash because her statement included comparing him to Jeff Beat on an earlier season of Married at First Sight. How, like, at first theirs was kind of like, not doing so well, but it ended up great and they have a baby and things are awesome. And she compared them to him and people came at her. So I think that's why she deleted the post,
But
allegedly.
why is that a problem to compare him to Jeffy?
Because he's nothing like Jeffy. Jeffy was great.
Okay.
Why I compare Chris, who is gross,
Okay.
to
I didn't
Jeffy?
know. I didn't know
It's not the
Jeffy.
comparison. It's no comparison.
Okay, I see. I see. So
Yeah,
she
you
was
didn't
just
watch that
talking some
season.
bullshit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All
It was a
right.
bad comparison, but yes.
Okay. So back at the four-wheeling excursion, um, Virginia, her facial expressions were cracking me up the whole time when she was like, "Are you kidding me? You think I don't care?" Like she's the kind of person that you can't hide her expression for anything. Like you can read it all over her face. But Eric did step over because he could see that it getting heated with Chris and just kind of stood there and tried not to say much to let Virginia do her thing. And it bothered me every time that Chris kind of jolted towards Virginia that the producers didn't do anything. Like
They
I
were
know
letting him
you,
kind of just be like, hang
well,
out there
but
because I thought that when Eric touched his shoulder, that it was going to be, that would potentially right there could have been a fight.
right.
And they were nowhere to be found.
Well, Eric's very touchy because I can see that he's done that to Chris probably one too many times. But I also learned that that's doctor language or something. So whenever you're supposed to give somebody bad news, you put their hand on their shoulder and you say, "You, you know, you're sick." And like that gives them a comfort and feeling. So every time I don't know if you've noticed it, but he'll touch Chris and be like, "Man, it's okay, calm down." And it's supposed to be one of those things.
It
Um,
is.
but it's
Definitely
not
different
working
than
for Chris.
Jeffy. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Jeffy's awesome. Chris is a slime ball.
Yeah.
She don't
Well,
know. She
that's
never
what I
watched the
hear.
Ep season.
I missed it. um, so, but I do think he needs to keep his hands off Chris because it's not working for him. That method of where it calms somebody down by going, "It's going to be all right."
No.
But it bothers me because Chris kept going, just jolting forward towards both of the girls, and I just didn't like that. Because you
Yeah,
don't know
me
this
neither.
dude. He's clearly off the rails. He clearly lies all the time. He's not stable by any means because he's crying in the corner all the time. So I just didn't like him. I just didn't like that.
I didn't
Anyhow,
either. How about this though? What about the bomb about Haley and Jacob?
wait, before we go into Haley and Jacob, because so much happened there. So, and then we'll move on. But he was telling them to leave after they got in a fight, they went over and talked to Paige to be like, "You know what, Paige? Regardless of what happened over there, we're going to be here for you no matter what." And then he comes over and he's like, "Don't be talking to my wife." And he starts chewing out everybody for talking to his wife and getting in his business. And so then Paige, almost like a battered woman, says, "Okay, honey, let's go." And like trots off with her husband and then puts everybody else in a very awkward and bad situation, which lines us up for the dinner. But before the dinner, we
I just
hear
wanted to
that.
say though, it was just funny. I think we slipped up about the temperature conversation between the girls, and when we forgot to mention, and I wanted to say it before we went too far, that Haley and Jacob had sex. Okay, bam, bam. All right.
Yes. And so I think right before the dinner, they had
Okay.
sex already. And so it was an awkward feeling going on. You want to take us there?
At the dinner?
Well, you want to take us through the whole Jacob and Haley. You wanted to talk about them. So they had sex, and now it's not going too well.
So they are having tons of issues. She reveals to the girls that they had sex, of course. She starts pulling away. Now she's got all weird on him. And he's like demanding her, "What's going on? What's up?" And she's like, "You can't just assume I'm going to hold your hand like and just be." So listen, I think it was bad.
I'll sleep with you in the hotel, but I'm not holding your hand.
No, I'll sleep
I'm
with
not
you. And
giving
it
you
got
affection.
weird and ill. That's what
Yeah, it
happened.
didn't go
I
well.
told you she never liked him. She got drunk and was like, "F it." And was like Chris and thought it was going to bring them closer together.
Now she doesn't have anything to say.
Poor guy. I feel bad for him.
I do. I do really feel bad for him, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know if it's his awkwardness or what it is about him, but I do get this bad feeling because later on in the episode, towards the end, where their big falling out is, because for the most part, they were getting along. Even at the dinner, he saw it closest to the bar. He really just wanted to eat the whole time. He just wanted his steak and eggs, and everybody fought, which we'll get into. But, they were up at the hotel, and I guess she said they were going to go have a girls' drink or a girls' outing or something.
Mm.
And he went down later on to see all of the couples were there, and she just didn't want him there. How shitty of a feeling is that? That's a Chris move.
That's a straight up Chris move. I know he felt bad. I feel really bad for him. Like I told you before, though, she's trying too hard. And we have a comment. Jeff D in the beginning was kind of not attractive to his wife. However, Chris is an asshole. His whole attitude sucks. Absolutely. Yeah, Jeff D wasn't attractive, but it's not the same. Jeff D didn't have all his issues. And Jeff D wasn't I don't know. It's like the difference between being that and a douche. I don't know. Chris is just a jerk to me. Anyways.
Okay. So now we take it to the dinner where everybody's sitting down at the table except for Eric and Virginia.
Erica.
Because once again, they're in the hotel room probably drinking and having a good old time in their own marriage like they should be instead of worried about everybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
But since they're late, they miss the very important apology. Everybody's sitting around the table. Paige opens up and she says she realizes that everybody there, they're good people. She's glad to have met them. She appreciates the support system. Then Chris jumps in. He starts to go on with his apology, this and that, saying that Paige prayed on his forehead last night just like his grandmother does. And now he's turning over a new leaf because one minute he's a man of God and the next minute he just says, let's eat amen. He doesn't know what he is. But he gives this whole apology, and for some reason, everybody's like, okay, it is what it is. Because after that trip and after he acted a fool in the van on the way back and argued with everybody and said,
we forgot to talk about the van.
I'm going to make this the ride from hell. We're going to talk about it right now. He was arguing with Eric. He was arguing with Virginia. And what are you going to do in this little van?
He did it on purpose.
Of course.
Being a bully.
That's it. So he was apologizing for his actions and that. I don't think I would have accepted it. And even Clara took it and accepted it, maybe because she just wanted to move on and not deal with it. I wouldn't have. However, here comes Eric and Virginia rolling in late. Eric sits down and he misses the whole apology and he says, look, Chris, I'm just going to let you know, you are not to talk to my wife like that. You are not to even address her anymore. If you have anything to say to her, you could just go through me. Chris didn't like that. He started to get an attitude. Ryan wanted to let him know, hey, look, man, he did come down and just apologize to us.
Ryan was like, wait a minute. Ryan was like, whoa, wait. let me first say, wait a minute. Because he was like, he knew it was about to go down because when he said that to Chris turned around like, oh, really? Like, okay, let's get into this. And
right.
Man.
Now let me ask you a question. Why do you think that Chris didn't wait for everybody to get there to do the apology? Do you think he didn't want to apologize to Eric and Virginia? Because he knew they were going to be there. I don't either. I still think that was part of his shit stirring. And
the big deal about that was they're fake. And they're, wanting to be there for them is fake. And it's like, no, they just don't want to be there for you. They said they were there for Paige. Okay.
Which was great because as soon as she sat down, she said, hey, Paige, I just took a shot. You want to get a shot? Like, fuck you, Chris.
Were you nervous at home watching it?
I was like, talk to your wife.
I was like, oh, snap, here they come.
Mm-hmm. All right. So they're going off. Chris starts stepping up. Eric's not getting up. He's staying very calm, which I have some things to say about that. But at the snap, Vincent gets up like he's going to do something. He pushes Chris out of the room and then goes for a walk with Chris to try to kind of calm him down. I thought it was going to get a little bit more heated than that, but Vincent just kind of took him and went in. And Brianna and Vincent are taking Chris and Paige's side because they didn't see the whole fight. They didn't see how bad it was. They weren't there for the excursion. They weren't there for the van ride home or the bus ride back. It was bad.
They weren't.
So they're saying, I don't know why they couldn't have accepted the apology or why they had to come down and go off because he was disrespectful to Virginia in a very awful way. That's all.
It's just hard to say what would have happened if they would have been on time. But again, I feel like it was a setup from the jump.
Maybe the producers said, he could be a little late.
But
it's okay.
How about this? Like, let's talk about some of the things that we missed, like some of the major, little digs. Okay. Like, you need to be worried about you and your wife walking around here drunk all the time. Who said that?
Chris said that to Eric and Virginia at the excursion.
You did it,
Ding,
girl.
ding, ding. Oh, man.
You need to go above and beyond. And is it yours? Again, Virginia.
Mm-hmm. I
I feel like
agree.
everything they say, everything because they're the drunk.
I mean, but there's a question. They're being honest. He's saying that they're being the fakest people there, and they're probably being the most honest people there when you put it that way.
Thank you. She loves our shirts. We want her to run, and we just, girl,
All
run.
right.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to get into them. We've touched on everybody except for Chris and Paige.
But
So
no, I
now,
wanted to say one thing. We're forgetting certain things, and I have
please
points
tell
on
me.
my notes. One thing
Please.
we're forgetting is that what Haley said about Jacob is that something's missing. So that's what set him off. And then we forgot to say what specifically she said, but she don't know what's missing, but something's missing, and we think it was the sex. All right. So also Paige also said these are these points that I want to pull out. Took an innocent person and dragged them through mess. Being a man, you have to say things that are rough. Who said that?
Chris.
Ding. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now they're back at the hotel room and they're talking about everybody's packing up and they're getting ready to go home. And we're focusing on Chris and Paige and they're talking about how they're going to move forward in life. They had two conversations about this. The first one, they were laying in bed and talking about her dog and, saying she can't wait for him to meet her dog. And he's like, oh, that dog going to chew on my shoes? If it chews on my shoes or my clothes, it's going to go. And she starts laughing. She's like, no, my dog's a good dog. He's not going to do that. Are you going to, walk the dog, maybe help take the dog out? And he said, no, I'll play with the dog. I'm not going to take care of the dog. Said, okay. And so she goes off camera and she says, so I'm supposed to be taking care of his child,
I
by
could be
some
a
other
bonus
lady.
parent.
Bonus parent.
She can't even take care of my dog.
Right. So they went into that. So that was a terrible conversation, made him look awful. And then we're going on to the end when they're packing up to go home. And she's like talking about moving forward and moving in together. And he's like, I've been talking to my baby mama. And
Before he said that, what you gonna wear, girl? You gonna wear something and show off that ass?
They're talking about the airport. Yep. And wants to
Right
wear
before
something.
that.
You're right, because that's super, super important. Getting ready to go to the airport and he wants her to wear something. She's like, I don't know, something comfortable, and wants her to wear something to show off that ass, which she freaking does. She wears a beautiful dress and a cover-up jacket, and her ass is sticking out in a put-out way. And then he's
leading
telling
her on. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, completely leading her on, and then telling her that he's been talking to his baby's mother, and he is thinking about, giving it a shot. If he can keep his family together, maybe that's the thing. And she's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's not what he said. Hold up, girl, you gotta back up because he's full of shit.
Oh.
If he could have came out and said it like that, that'd be one thing, but that's not what he did. What he did was he danced around the question because she said, what's going on with you and her? And he said, she said, do you want to get back? He goes, I don't want another man raising my child. Right there says, what you mean by that? So when he said that, she goes, well, have you guys you guys talked about getting back together? He said, I mean, we've had conversations about it. And that's when she was like, oh, this is BS.
Yes, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that was about it. Wouldn't you say?
No. So basically she was saying that.
Keep going.
She was saying that so you want your babies, you want her. And she said, I'm done. So then instead of being which I really think he wants her to go, and he, for some reason, talks her back in by accident. I don't know. But he reels her back in again. He doesn't want to look like the
bad guy. He don't want to look bad. He wants her to
reels her back in again. He's like, but listen, I'm so spiritually attracted to you now. Is she dickmatized?
She could be dickmatized. She could be in it for the show. She could just be so into God put me here and this is how I'm just going to let it play out. But at some point or another, when somebody's constantly throwing God in your face, that's the devil's work, girl. Read God's signs.
Absolutely.
That's all I have to say about that.
But, he's manipulated the hell out of her. But I don't know what else to say. Like, if she doesn't see, she should leave. Like, I don't know what her motive is for staying around. Run,
Run,
girl,
Paige,
run.
run.
I know that there's contracts, but there's got to be a way because they
Do you know
fucked
what?
up.
Do you know what's going to upset me? So the next episode, they go home. I think she chose to live with him, and he chose not to live with her.
You think that's
Not
what's
even.
going to happen?
Yeah, I don't
I know
even
the
think
baby
it's
mama's going to be on it.
supposed to be on it, calling her this, that. I don't care about your wife. Fuck that bitch. This, that. But I
Messy.
think I don't know for sure, but I just get the feeling that he's going to be the one that doesn't want to live with her, and that's going to piss me off even more. Like, come on, Paige, come on.
She's
So
disappointing us big time. I don't know what is going on. I don't even think I would have agreed to meet with the baby mama. Would you?
no, I wouldn't
But
be
listen, I
hanging
think
in.
no, and I want to tell you this, and I know we forgot this, guys, but do you remember the conversation between Vincent and Brianna? Did
Oh,
anybody like what he said about, basically he won't be rushed and he don't care who you are and he does what he wants? Did you
I
get
didn't.
that?
I heard it. I didn't think it was a problem. I thought he was just asserting who he was in a very chill way,
It
and it
scared
is.
me. I
It
love
did.
them. A little bit. It was like red flag a little bit, tiny. I was like,
I was
what's
like, you
that
gotta
mean?
let
Because in a
him
marriage, you
know.
gotta compromise. What you mean? I'm not gonna change. I am who I am.
Well, I think because she made it a point a few times that he's very chill and takes his own time, and she's like, let's go,
She was
and
annoyed.
yeah, and she told him she was annoyed,
Mm-hmm.
but at least they're communicating about it.
I agree.
But I heard.
I don't know. It made me a little bit funny.
Okay.
Chris will say something that he hopes Paige will decide to leave him, and when she comes back letting him know she's a ride or die chick, then he has to throw something worse at her. You are so right, but like, what is the game? It's like she's out. She said, "I'm done."
Mm-hmm. But she's not done.
He reeled her back in. He was like, "But you know, I'm spiritually attracted to you, girl. What you gonna wear on the plane with that ass?" That's what he said.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to next week, episode 7, when they go home and what life is like in the real world.
I'm excited for it too. I feel like it's all revolving around Chris and Paige, and I want to see the other couples evolve too, guys. I feel like it's ruining everything. What do
Mm-hmm.
you guys
Well,
think?
at least they'll be in their separate homes, and they're not going to cause drama with each
They're
other.
gonna live right around each other, I believe.
Yeah, they don't have to hang
I'm
out.
worried about Eric and do they eventually fight? I wonder.
I don't
Eric
know.
and Chris.
I guess we'll stay tuned and we'll keep
Do you
on
think Chris could
watching.
have taken him or what? Who do you think Eric and Chris fighting?
Well, I think Eric has a professional job and he can't be out there fighting and jeopardizing his career for
No.
somebody like Chris. Like, you're not worth it. I'm going to sit
Mm-mm.
here. You can go ahead and act a fool. You're not going to disrespect my wife. And it's not like it's going to get real far, anyways, because people are going to get in here and break it up, anyways. And that's how I feel.
Right at the moment.
Right at the moment. And
Right at it.
I feel like it would have been an even. I don't think it would have been one crushed the other by any means.
I don't either, girl.
What do
Well,
you?
listen, I don't. I think that I'm just excited for what's to come.
Me too.
Yeah. Run, Paige, run. You can get these shirts on our website at momstalkingshit.com. Also, please like and subscribe for our video podcasts. We also do a lot of audio podcasts on. You can find them on all major platforms. Thank you guys for commenting. It's awesome. We love to hear your feedback, and thanks for all the support. Good night.